Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on scaling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And you know, whenever I discuss some of this stuff, I do get people who are like, Jason is just too dogmatic. He's too dogmatic with this. You know, some supplements do work. Yeah, that's true, but even the people who say that, even people who make their living dealing and pimping and promoting supplements, honestly admit, the ones who are honest about it admit they're not going to work as well as people think they are, and there is no supplement ever in the world or combination of supplements that's going to take you to the next level. Even guys like Dr. Norton, Dr. Zane Norton, says that, you know, the only purpose of developing a supplement, in his opinion, and this is someone who promotes and pimps them, is to try to get a 0.5% advantage somewhere. That maybe in a competitive environment, it might be the difference between first and second place, maybe. But, you know, again, it's not going to be a visible difference. In other words, if you feel a difference, it's placebo. Nothing that they're going to develop is going to be enough that you're going to actually notice it. And that's the difference we're talking about here. If it does, it's in your head. That's called a placebo. And here's the thing. I think it's a sad state of affairs when so many fitness YouTubers feel the need to pimp supplements, start their own supplement lines and everything when they have the opportunity to actually make an honest living, actually helping people, entertaining people, that they don't believe in their own brand enough to actually do that. You know, that they could, most of them could probably make just as much money off merchandising if they are off the supplements, and they're still just selling their name and their brand at that point. And I want people to remember, when I say it's sad, I'm not being anti-capitalist. I'm pro-capitalist. I'm pro-free market. But I also believe in selling something of value. That if you're selling something that has no value other than a placebo effect, that really is a problem. Now, a lot of people say, but Jason, this supplement helps, that supplement helps. Are you sure about that? Because more and more of them that a lot of people thought work, more of the experts, again, Eric Helms and everyone else, are starting to promote them less and less. And the thing is, guys, when I say that it's sad that these guys do this, it's because most of them know they don't work. The reason for that, you can't be in the iron game for a decade straight, not be borderline mentally handicapped, and still think that supplements work. At least anything meaningful. At least anything meaningful. I mean, like me, do I take any? Yeah, I take right now 2 supplements, and people are going to be shocked at the second. I take 3 caps of fish oil a day, which cost me about $5 a month. I buy the big bulk one at Costco and throw it in the freezer. And because even though creatine, I've always been a non-responder, because it is so cheap that I spend about $1.50 a month on it, because I bought a whole kilo of it on Amazon for $17. That'll last me a year. I might even be wrong on the math. It might be longer. Who knows? It's a lot. It'll probably be a year's supply, $17. Since there's good data showing that it's one of the few supplements that does anything at all, I figure, what the hell, maybe it'll help me hold a tiny little bit of intramuscular water or something while I'm losing body fat. Maybe. You know, but for $1.50, okay, you know, who cares, $1.50 a month. But I'm not even convinced that's going to be worth anything. I'm not convinced it's going to be worth the $17 a year, but it's only $17 a year. So you can buy creatine bulk. It's that, though, people know they don't work by that point. Because we all start out being influenced by the industry. I mean, 15 years ago, I used supplements. I used tons of supplements. I spent $100 a month on supplements. Even when I was at my biggest and strongest. Because I thought they all worked. And I thought there was some science suggesting it, you know, supplement science. So I used to get custom blends of protein. Because there was a company, and I forget what it's called, who used to make big things where they would give you a 5-gallon bucket. 5-gallon buckets that are sealed with your mix in there, and it was actually cheaper than going to the store to buying protein. They would put whatever flavors, whatever sweeteners you want, and they would add all these other aminos. So I used to have glutamine and everything added to mine. Right, a couple different amino acids, even the creatine, just because it only cost me an extra couple dollars to fill it into the whole container, because it was bulk costs. I used to take 30 grams of glutamine a day, because it was being promoted back then. You know what was my big tip-off for me early on is when I went and read actual medical literature, and I realized that glutamine wasn't even orally bioavailable to get to your muscle tissue. When I started looking at some of the biochemistry involved, and what happens in the body with glutamine. And I realized that the 30 grams of glutamine that I was consuming a day was not even reaching my bloodstream. A light clicked on, and I'm like, wait a minute. But all these people swear by all this stuff, and the evidence shows to do. There's even research showing it doesn't even seem to help athletes, because your intestines utilize all of it as a fuel source. It's great in the hospital for people who've had surgery on their digestive system or their intestine. It works fantastic for that because it's an amazing fuel source for your intestine cells. They absorb and use all of it. You don't get really any of it. It's just a trace amount gets past them into your bloodstream. So it's great for that, for healing wounds in your intestines, but it doesn't have any other use beyond that. And here I was consuming 30 grams of it a day. That's when I realized stuff doesn't work, and I came off all the supplements, and I continued to gain muscle and strength. I didn't see any change. And that's what you see. I get a lot of guys here. If you guys read through the comments when I make these, you get lots of older guys who've been training 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. You see tons of them who are like, yeah, 8 years ago, I came off all the supplements and I didn't notice any difference. It's saving me $50, $100 a month. I don't take any supplements. They're like, and I'm still, doing whatever, benching 350, squatting 500, whatever it is that they happen to be doing. Like, I didn't lose anything, nothing. All I did was save money. So that's kind of the point. Anyone who's been in the iron game long enough to actually be able to give you legitimate training or nutrition advice, because they actually have enough experience to do so, at that point, they realize these things don't work. Anyone who's been training at least a decade who still pimps supplements, you notice either one of two things. They are either basically a little bit slow, so they're definitely functioning below average, and it's pretty easy to pick out who they are, or they're pimping them. And just because they've got a doctor in their name doesn't mean they're not pimping them. They're just because they're a world-respected strength coach doesn't mean they're not pimping their own personal line and telling you need 40 fish oil caps a day. Oh, and here's my name brand. You see what I mean, guys? That's kind of what's going on. And ultimately, I think the thing that really bothers me is that I've realized, contrary to what a lot of people say, you can make a hell of a lot of money on YouTube just by making videos that people want to watch. And I understand people want a little more. Hey, we all want more money. Everybody would love an extra $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month in their pocket. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter if you make $30,000 or $300,000 a year. An extra $1,000 a month is extra $1,000 a month. I get it. But the thing is, there is so much money to be had if people just put out more content and better content, that they would make all that money back up that they're going to get off the supplements. If they just put a little more effort, they really wanted the money bad enough, a little more effort into cranking out a few extra quality videos every week. If they had something worth saying, if they really had something to either teach you or entertain you to get people watching, these people who already have big followings would make that extra $1,000+ a month just by doing that. That's all most of them would need to do without selling the products. And I just think it's a very sad state of affairs when that's the direction this community has gone. And the reason it's sad is because it perpetuates the myths of the supplement industries. And so many of these guys start their own lines. Even people I get along with and I like, they start their own supplement line. As if all the marketing wasn't bad enough with these companies selling all this snake oil, they got to promote their own. And it just perpetuates the myth and the idea that supplements are really worthwhile, that it's a smart investment for someone who's on a budget to spend $50 or $100 a month on supplements, when it really isn't. And it's even worse when a lot of these guys are blasting gear or, using little tiny amounts, that they're spending less on that to get the look that they've got, than what a lot of their followers are paying for in the supplements they're pimping. And that's a big problem too. There's a level of dishonesty there. Because again, I'm not going to get into all that. I'm not going to promote it. But I think people would be shocked how cheap some of these substances are that guys are taking. If you have access to the right connections, this stuff isn't as expensive as you think. Growth hormone's expensive. Anabolics are not. Even the best ones are not particularly expensive. And again, unless they've traded hands 6 times and you're way down the line. But I mean, it's literally the fact that I know plenty of guys who use substantial amounts that spend less on their entire drug stack every month than a lot of these 16, 17, 19-year-old kids are spending on their monthly supplement bill. All right, again, you'd be really surprised. It's all about who you know. And that's, again, the problem. You know, so many of these guys, they do the whole fake natty thing, or they use little conservative amounts to really give them that edge and that look or the performance or whatever they're doing, and then they pimp the supplements. And that's really, the supplements aren't getting them there. They might take their own supplements, some of them. Some of these guys might say, well, I'm getting it cheap because I'm producing it wholesale. I've got a little supplement company here. I use some of these things just because they're convenient. And maybe I'll get a 0.5% edge out of it, and I'm not really paying anything for it. But I can assure you, most of those guys, if they've been training a decade or longer and they've really been around this, they're not spending their own money on supplements. But then they're more than happy to pimp them to everyone else and tell these kids that they need them. And again, that goes back to what the problem is. It's perpetuating a lie that these things are necessary. That's bad enough. When they're promoted as necessary, that's a real problem. But when a lot of them are even promoted as useful, that's a thing. You know, again, we're talking about, if you were to find the best 3 or 4 supplements scientifically proven anywhere in the world that is legal, that's legal, combine them together, you are not going to get a 1% edge out of it. It is absolutely, just like Price Plow said in that video, and he's over here pimping them. Supplements aren't going to take you to the next level. It's not going to take you from here up to here. It's going to be an immeasurable amount without equipment to actually measure it. Like, if you don't have actual ways to do DEXA scans to measure the difference, or you're not plotting all your lifts over the course of 6 months, the change is going to be so small that you're not going to be able to detect it without some sort of statistical analysis. That's how small the effect is going to be. But then kids are shelling out $50, $100, $200 a month for this stuff because they've been told by an industry that it's necessary. When the truth is, all these fitness YouTubers could actually do their audience a lot of good by saying, hey guys, you know what? You know what? Most of this stuff is a scam. Don't spend your money on it. Eat right, train hard. Here, I can help you with information and you don't need to worry about this other stuff. They could do so much good. And fitness YouTubers are the biggest voice right now in the fitness world. The social media, between Instagram and YouTube, all the people who promote fitness on those could actually completely bankrupt the supplement industry if they all just kind of said, nah, you don't need any of this stuff. Here, just follow my workout and nutrition advice. You'll be fine. If every one of them did that, that whole industry would go bankrupt. And it would save the consumers, and especially young, naive kids, billions of dollars every year. Now, people will say, well, wouldn't that hurt the economy? No, because they would have the same disposable income to go spend on something else that would actually bring some value to their life, right? Even if it's an expensive pair of clothes or a new iPhone, somebody's still making money on that and at least has some perceived value in social status or entertainment or something. The supplements, all you're basically doing is having more expensive urine and poop for the most part. And that's it. I mean, when we're talking about, well, it boosts the economy purely so that someone has a job and makes money somewhere, well, that same money would be spent on other stuff towards more useful things at the end of the day. You know, instead, we're rewarding a scam artist industry. And all these fitness YouTubers are promoting it. They're part of it. And if they really and truly cared, about their followers, they would just be honest with them and tell them, you don't need any of this stuff. Don't worry about it. Here, I'm going to teach you how to train. I'm going to teach you how to eat. You'll reach your goals. Here you go. This is all you need. If they were honest, that's what would happen. And that's a problem. And they're all doing it just to make a little more money, when the truth is, all of these guys can make that same money up just by making a few more quality videos. That's all it would take. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.